Perhaps I'm just testing this mic out for something big coming to 67 Hail Hail very soon. I wouldn't be talking about those. I'm not allowed to tell you that, apparently. 67 Hail Hail lawyers have intervened there in the final edit. But I can tell you about former Celtic player. No, apparently I can't tell you about that either. What can I tell you about? I can tell you that it's exciting times at 67 Hail Hail. My job this week has been less about making videos and more about putting things into place for some of the big plans we've got on this channel. And I know I keep talking about them, and I promise very soon we will be able to tell you all about them. We just want to make sure that everything is rubber stamped so that we don't look like idiots, because let's just say someone was burned a few times last season, and that someone is me. So we've got big plans for the channel. One thing I can tell you is that we'll have a new pundit. I don't like the word pundit. I have no idea why I just used it there. We'll have a new guest on the channel tomorrow night, making his debut on the post-Midtjylland reaction. It's Stevie from Gig Pod, also known as the Glasgow is Green podcast. Stevie's going to be joining us a lot this season. As I say, he's going to make his debut tomorrow night with me and John. So exciting times. He'll be involved in the Midtjylland game in a kind of far-flung place. One person who won't be involved is Leigh Griffiths, because apparently Leigh Griffiths is injured again. I'm just continually asking myself, is all this drama that surrounds Leigh Griffiths worth it anymore for Celtic? Now, I know that many people that would defend Leigh Griffiths would be saying that he didn't necessarily cause the drama on Saturday, that it was some Celtic fans booing, others cheering, that created the whole atmosphere in the air, which, by the way, I didn't really think was toxic at any point. I kind of thought it was relatively subdued, but I don't know, that was just in the part of the ground I was in. But just the overall Leigh Griffiths stuff, the second half taken over by him, Ange Postecoglou's press conference today, seemingly taken over by chat about Leigh Griffiths. Certainly the main headlines I've seen after the press conference have been about Leigh Griffiths. Postecoglou himself saying that Griffiths could win supporters back, quote, very quickly with good performances. Now, a lot of the replies to the footage that was posted by Go Radio seem to suggest that Celtic fans for the first time disagree with Ange Postecoglou. Nothing against Ange. I can understand why he's trying to light a fire under Leigh Griffiths and, you know, get him to prove people wrong. It's good man management in one way, but I just think a lot of Celtic fans are beyond that point with Leigh Griffiths. That was fine, you know, 18 months, 2 years ago. Now a lot of Celtic fans are just sick, fed up of the drama, and it's just not worth it as far as I'm concerned. Celtic have so many things going on at the moment that we could quite happily do without the extra distraction of Leigh Griffiths. This is a guy who has scored 17 league goals in the last 3 seasons. He's barely ever fit. When he does play, he maybe scores the odd goal, but he hardly scores an amount of goals that would warrant this off-field drama. I just think Celtic have to move Leigh Griffiths on for the good of the club and for the good of Leigh Griffiths as well. So Griffiths did take a lot of the headlines from Ange's press conference, but there were a few other interesting nuggets. Yes, nuggets is the word I'm going to go for. Christopher Jullien still apparently a few months away. That's a quote from Ange. If ever you could go back in time and just shout to Jullien to let that Dundee United goal in. I think it was Mark McNulty around about the festive period when he slid in and bumped himself into the post and hasn't kicked a ball since. Just let that goal in, Christopher, and maybe we'd be in a better place now. But he's going to be a few months away. Karl Starfelt should be available for Tynecastle on Saturday, according to the manager. He started individual training and will join up with his new teammates at Lennoxtown when they return, hopefully victorious from their trip to Denmark in midweek. Transfer business is kind of heating up as well. Belgian outlet Walfoot are saying that we could complete the signing of Aurelio Buta from Royal Antwerp today. Famous last words, and I hope I'm wrong here, but I don't know if I see that one happening today. But they seem pretty adamant that it will. They also say that a £3 million fee has been agreed with Royal Antwerp. We've covered the Buta on the channel pretty much every day for the last couple of weeks, so I'm not going to go any further on him. Another name we have been linked with in the same position, right back that is Josip Juranovic from Legia Warsaw. They're the guys who still don't really like us after the let football win drama of about a decade ago. Juranovic is 25. He's a right back who has a handful of appearances for his country, Croatia, including at Hampden in the Euros just a few weeks ago. He also played in the last 16 extra time defeat to Spain. So, a starter for Croatia. Yes, they're not the team they used to be. Yes, it is international football, but he seems to have decent pedigree. Fiorentina and Spartak Moscow also said to be interested in Juranovic. So that's one to watch. Would we sign Buta and Juranovic? I've said on the channel before that we certainly need more than one right back. That's a real problem area at the club at the moment. So it's encouraging to hear names being mentioned. We'll see what happens with those two. We also heard overnight that Dermot Desmond is apparently heavily involved in Celtic transfer negotiations this summer. When I heard that news, I couldn't help but think back to some comments made by a former Celtic target, Sasha Boy, when he blamed foreign intermediaries meddling in the deal as his reason for not coming to Celtic. It all kind of makes sense now. Of course, it's a huge week for Celtic. We play Jullien tomorrow night. It's a 6:45 kick-off, Scottish time, by the way, just in case you weren't aware and you turn on your telly at, 7:45 for kick-off and we're already 3-0 down. Just make sure you're an hour early to see those defensive howlers. No, in general, I'm relatively hopeful for tomorrow. I always think there's a danger of building games up too much, and you just, every single game you say this is a huge one. I just do think that it's a particularly big one tomorrow night. It would just take the pressure off a lot if we were to get a win or at least go through in the tie. I think after that, not too many people would be realistically expecting us to down PSV in the next round. We could kind of have a stab at it, maybe with a few new additions, Starfelt, Furuhashi, Abada further up to speed, James Forrest back, etc. We could make a good stab at it. But I think in reality, a lot of people would expect us to bow out at that stage of the Champions League, and there'd be no real harm done in it. Postecoglou and the team wouldn't be any worse off. They would still have the Europa League group stage to fall back on at that stage. We wouldn't even have to play another qualifier, obviously, to get into the Europa League group stage, so we could have a bit more time on the training pitch. We wouldn't have to worry about another qualifier. So I think that's why tomorrow is huge. It would give us a lot of breathing space. It's kind of an early crossroads for Celtic, and it would just set us up so nicely for a huge trip to Tynecastle on Saturday night if we could get through against Midtjylland. I'm relatively hopeful. I think we were much the better team in the first leg. I think we'll score at least one goal over there, possibly two, possibly more. If we're clinical, we're chances. We'll certainly create opportunities over there like we did in the first leg. But of course, the defence is a major worry, and it will continue to be a major worry until we bring in new players. We kind of know what the defence is going to look like tomorrow, and it's going to be very similar, if not the same, to the defence that started against West Ham and looked pretty ropey in the first half before those players were replaced by even ropier players. So we've got it to look forward to. At least football is back. We can get back into Celtic and get excited about the game tomorrow. We're going to have a video at lunchtime, and then we'll have the live reaction with me, John and Stevie after the match. Take care, everyone. Remember to subscribe to 67 Hail Hail as well. And we're over and out.